Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto was banished and becomes Master Swordsman, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
5 a.m. Destination unknown. Hinata was sleeping in the bed in the room provided to her by Naya. The young lady was comfortable, the expression was shown on her face during sleep. All of this was about to change. Naya dumped a bucket of ice water on Hinata. This jolted her out of her sleep. Hinata sat up looking around with a vacant expression. She looked up to see Naya standing at the foot of the bed with her arms folded and an aggravated facial expression. I thought I said 5 every morning. Get dressed and meet me in the third room on the right of this floor. We will start with basic sealing techniques. Yes, Naya-sensei. Naya walked off with a smile on her face. Naya-sensei. That has really nice ring to it. A really nice ring to it. A couple of minutes passed. Hinata walked into a nicely painted yellow room with a wooden floor. Hinata was looking around the room, which had cases of shelves on all of the room walls. All of the shelves were filled with neatly stacked scrolls. Hinata continued to study the room until Naya walked back in with floor mats for both her and Hinata. The Hyuga girl also noticed that the woman was dressed differently from when she saw her about 5 minutes ago. Naya's hair was now in a ponytail with 2 long bangs on the side. She now had on a purple halter top with purple spandex to match. She didn't have on the sandals most ninjas wore. She had on black shoes kung fu rubber toe, with white ankle warmers that were more fashionable than guys. Naya placed the mats on the floor. She positioned them so that she and Hinata would be facing each other. She motioned for Hinata to sit down while she went to one of the shelves and grabbed a bunch of scrolls. The seal mistress placed the seals on the side of her and Hinata. She then took a seat on the mat. Okay Hinata, I will start off by asking, what is the purpose of seals? Naya asked. Well, according to what we learned from the academy and the little information I read about seals, I would have to say that they can be used to seal stuff in other objects. They can also be used as a form of control. Hinata said as if she wasn't sure that the 2 answers she gave were correct. Naya raised index finger and responded, that is correct, but seals are used for other things as well. Seals can be used to contain other seals. Seals can also be used to grant power. A perfect example would be the curse seal mark. The curse seal mark gives power to the user, but it also destroys the body if used for too long. This is the reason why it is a kinjutsu, the curse seal that is. Hinata, have you ever heard of the Yondaim's famous technique? Hinata looked down searching for something her father once said. She looked back up to meet Naya's eyes. Yes, it was called the Harashin if I'm not mistaken. My father told me it made him so fast that he was a force to be reckoned with. I don't know too much about it though. Well, he used seals to teleport himself from location to location. He created the technique himself, which is quite a feat. Anyway, the technique works like a summoning. The marker, whether it is a sticker or a kunai, the person can summon themselves to the location of the marker. Do you understand what I'm saying, Hinata? Naya asked the girl in front her. Hinata nodded. Yes, I understand completely Naya-sensei. If you don't mind me asking, what are we going to do today? Naya placed her hands on her knees. Well, I want you to get a basic understanding of seals and the possibilities of their use. We will work on basic sealing. Do you know how to seal weapons in scrolls, Hinata? No. My friend Tenten, who is a Jonin, knows how to though. I would love to learn how to. I think that it would be beneficial. Hinata answered honestly. It would be very useful indeed. Many people fail to realize how much items you could carry if they were sealed. Okay, let's get started. Naya said the last part with enthusiasm. The seal mistress picked up a blank scroll that was on the side of her. She laid it flat in front of her. Naya then took a brush and dipped in the ink that was also on the side her. She began to write weird symbols and characters on the blank paper. When she was finished, she took another scroll and opened it. She summoned the weapons that were sealed inside of it. She placed a Fuma Shuriken, a kunai, and a sword inside of the paper. She looked up at Hinata. You see, this scroll isn't that long, so it limits the amount of items that can be sealed inside of it. For a scroll of this size it would take about 3 items. However, it is possible to seal items, but that would require a very long scroll that would fit the characters required. Now that I have placed the items inside the scroll, I will do the necessary hand seals. Watch carefully, they are as followed: monkey, serpent, horse, hare, bird, boar, and tiger. Once you do these hand seals, gather your chakra in your hands and make sure that your chakra spreads throughout the paper. Hinata performed the seals slowly. Once she finished, Hinata gathered chakra in her hands. She then placed her hands on the scroll and proceeded to spread the chakra through the scroll. When Hinata finished spreading the chakra, the symbols and the characters on the paper started to glow. Soon after, the weapon began to glow. Hinata saw the weapons disappear. New big and bolder characters formed within the symbols on the paper. Naya clapped. Congratulations, you now know how to seal weapons. Hinata was happy at her accomplishment. She decided to ride the wave, confidence flowing through her. Naya-sensei, I would like to try another, but this time, I would like to draw the characters and the symbols necessary. Looking at what you did, I have a general idea of what to do. Naya reached to her side to give Hinata another blank scroll. She then stood up. Well, I'm going to do a couple of things, you practice on that. You can use those weapons to practice sealing items. I will be back around 11:30. If you need more things to seal, the shelves next to the door on the left has weapons and other items sealed inside of it. You can open those seals to remove the weapons. The shelves are color-coded, as well as the scrolls to indicate which belongs to which. The weapons are too. I expect you to reseal all the weapons you use in their rightful scrolls. Later. Hinata nodded and started drawing characters and symbols on the scroll. Naya was at the door, then she stopped and turned to look at Hinata, who was oblivious of her gaze. The girl got it in one try. It took me 2 tries, but I was about 5 years younger than she is. But still, she picked it up fairly fast. I wonder how far she will advance in a month. She'll probably be an above-average beginner. I guess only time will tell. See country. Inside a dojo in the compound, Naruto stood before about 20 to 25 clan members. Raiho was in the center of the group. He stepped forward and spoke. I have been the wielder of Heaven's Blade since I was 23. I call you all here to tell you that I have selected Naruto to take the trials. Should he succeed, he will become the Blade's new wielder. The males, ranging from the 24 to 60, looked at one another, then back at Raiho. The eldest male spoke. Raiho, shouldn't a member of our house take the trials? No offense to Naruto, but he is only an honorary member of this clan. Raiho answered, someone in this house has already taken the trials. Shinji, my nephew, the strongest in the clan, only second to me, took the trials a year ago and failed. You didn't know this because you weren't selected to be a part of the trials. I don't see another wielder coming along for years. I believe that Naruto is the one to wield the sword. Shinji stepped forward. I did indeed failed. My uncle logic is correct. Although I would love to have become the wielder, the sword didn't accept me. There is no harm in Naruto-san trying to become the wielder. If he succeeds, then he was meant to wield it. If he doesn't, then Raiho-sama remains the wielder until someone worthy comes along to wield it. The old man nodded. I see. I guess you're right, Shinji. Raiho addressed everyone. The trials will begin today at noon. His focused on Naruto. Naruto, there will be 3 tests. The first one will test your will, the second will test your faith, and the last will test your heart. To wield the sword, you must pass all 3 tests. I suggest you get some rest, Naruto, but knowing you, you will probably go do something else. Either way, I want you here by noon. Raiho looked at his clansmen. You guys go prepare the cave. You all are dismissed. Everyone exited except for Shinji and Raiho. Shinji walked up next to his uncle. Uncle, do you believe that he can pass the trials? I don't know, Shinji. We will see soon. It really depends on him, to tell you the truth. The test will show everyone, Naruto included, what he is truly made of. 11 a.m. Konoha. Senziru was standing before Tsunade, Homura, and Koharu. Tsunade addressed her son. Senziru, you have been thought to be dead for the last 18 years. A shinobi whom is thought to be dead and returns, it is a mandatory procedure to ask certain questions. Do you understand? Senziru nodded. Yes. Okay then. Where have you been for the last 18 years? Tsunade asked, already knowing the story. It was mandatory that the Hokage and the 2 senior advisors be present when questioning a shinobi that has returned to the village after such a long time. Well, I was training under a swordsman up until I was 22. After that I wandered around studying techniques and strengthened my skills. In order to be a valuable asset to this village, I felt my reason for not returning right away was justified. Senziru informed the three before him. Koharu spoke, well, your reason was just, but not even informing the Hokage of your status is not becoming of a nin. However, it's not like you turned on Konoha, in fact you risked your life to save the lives of your comrades. Homura finished up, that is what makes Konoha the strongest of the 5 nations, unity and sacrificing ourselves for our fellow man. It's the close family unity that our nins and villages develop that makes us strong and gives us our strength. Family. Unity. Fucking hypocrites. Tsunade broke from her thoughts and smiled at her son. Well, on behalf of myself and Konoha, welcome back Senziru. You will be reinstated to the position you held. If you feel that you are above that, then you can allow me to evaluate you and make a decision based on that. But Hokage-sama, wasn't my performance yesterday good enough? Tsunade placed hand on her lower lip and looked up to recall their battle. Well, if I went on that alone, yes, I would say that you are definitely Jonin level. I will call in 5 other Jonin and ask their opinion. If 3 out of 5 feel that you are Jonin level, then I will consider it, but remember the decision is still up to me. You are free to go. Senziru nodded. He then bowed to the 3 officials before him. Senziru proceeded to head out of the office. Reidu and Genma, Tsunade called out. Both Junins appeared in an instant. She continued, Reidu, retrieve Kakashi, Asuma, Aoba, Kotetsu, Izumo. Genma, retrieve Sasuke, Sakura, Neji, Kiba. Then nodded, then phased out of sight. Location unknown. Hinata was busy putting everything in the color-coded order that they were in. Hinata started to understand the concept behind sealing things inside of scrolls and was getting better. So that is why Tenten-san scroll is so huge. Sealing is time-consuming. Naya walked in to see Hinata straighten up things. I see that you are almost finished putting everything back. Yes, I decided to put everything back now. Well, this scroll is the last, so what are we going to do next, Naya-sensei? The curious Hyuga asked. Naya walked around Hinata looking her up and down. Well, first, you are going to change. That long overcoat just won't do. I have placed clothes on your bed similar to mine's. The only thing different is the color, which is a sky blue with white ankle warmers. I don't know your shoe size, so you will have to wear your sandals today, or you can wear them for the duration, whatever makes you comfortable. What is your shoe size anyway? I will get you a pair just in case. I wear a 4-inch shoes. Hinata informed the older lady. Perfect, that's my size. I have tons of shoes like the ones I'm sporting that I have yet to wear. I'll go get you the shoe that matches that outfit. Hinata raised her hand to signal her sensei to stop. Sensei, that isn't necessary. I mean, we're training, fashion really is important. Naya turned and gave Hinata a serious look. Fashion is one of the most important things in this world. You don't realize it yet, but you will. After you leave here, you will have the best fashion sense in the world. Besides, my student has to look as fabulous as her sensei, or it would be crime to even be considered as a sensei. I'll meet you in your room with those shoes. Naya smiled and then walked off. Naya-sensei and Ino-san would get along great. Hinata just sighed and headed to her room. Back in Konoha, Tsunade was now in her office with Sasuke, Sakura, Neji, and Kiba. You are to go to Waterfall and inform their leader of our plans. Your mission starts now. Sasuke spoke up before everyone could turn around. Hokage-sama, I request that someone else goes in my place. We have an idea of what Cloud is trying to do, however we're not entirely sure. I think my presences would be useful here in the village. Tsunade stared at Sasuke, trying to see his reason for wanting to opt out of the mission. She understood now. It was because he didn't like the idea of Naruto getting stronger than him. So he wants to train. I guess it would benefit the leaf if he got stronger. It's not like this is a dangerous mission. Tsunade spoke, okay, I will replace you this time, Uchiha Sasuke. Have Ino and Chuji meet Neji's team at the gates. Sasuke nodded, then disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Tsunade turned back to the remaining group. The rest of you are dismissed. Sakura, tell Kakashi and the others to come in. Sakura, Kiba, and Neji exited the Hokage's office. Sakura informed Kakashi that Tsunade wanted to see them now. She waved bye to her sensei and headed out. Kakashi, followed by Aoba, Asuma, Izumo, and Kotetsu, entered her office. The Junins lined up side by side in front of the Hokage. Tsunade addressed the assembled Junin. I called you here because I would like to promote a Chunin to Junin. You all know that there is 3 ways that a person can get promoted to Junin. 1. She must take the exams and be approved by the assembled council. 2. Challenge the Hokage, and if she does good, the decision is up to the Hokage. Or 3. Be approved by 3 out of 5 Junin. Asuma spoke. I assume you called us here for the latter. This is about Senziru, isn't it? Yes. I want your opinions on what you thought about him yesterday. Based on what you saw, do you think he is qualified to be a Junin? Tsunade responded. Kakashi was the first to speak. Well, he did last with you for 5 minutes. That is something only a handful of ninja could do, so I, Hitaki Kakashi, place my vote for the Chunin known as Senziru, to be promoted to Junin status. Alba spoke. I, Yamashiro Alba, place my vote for the Chunin known as Senziru, to be promoted to Junin status. He beat me kind of easy, and I'm a Junin, so it would be foolish not to recommend him. I, Kamizuki Izumo, place my vote for the Chunin known as Senziru, to be promoted to Junin status. Kotetsu looked at Izumo and nodded. Izumo is right. He took us out effortlessly. I, Hagen Kotetsu, place my vote for the Chunin known as Senziru, to be promoted to Junin status. Tsunade moved her eyes to Asuma. Well, he did take out 2 Junins pretty easy, and he held his own against you. As a former teammate, I knew what he was capable of, so I, Sarutobi Asuma, place my vote for the Chunin known as Senziru to be promoted to Junin status. Tsunade looked at her subordinates. She nodded. Okay, it seems that you all believe that he is capable. I will promote him to Junin status. Asuma, find Senziru and have him in my office ASAP. I will inform him of his promotion to Junin. All of you are free to go except you, Kakashi. Everyone left except Kakashi. I want you to tell Gaara to meet me in my office at 4 p.m. I want to talk to him before we leave. If you don't mind me asking, Tsunade, what is that you wish to talk to him about? Kakashi wondered. This is cage business, Kakashi, nothing to concern you with. Also, the academy graduation is in a week. I'm asking the best Junins to take on a team and have them ready for the Chunin exams in 6 months. So what do you say, Kakashi? Care to take on a team? Tsunade asked. The last time I took on a team, it didn't go so well. I kept on preaching teamwork when all I did was focus on 1 student who betrayed the village, another got banished, and another I helped slightly. Nope, I took on a Genin squad already. Besides, it would be pretty hard for any Genin to live up to what those 3 have accomplished. Kakashi stated. Tsunade smiled at Kakashi. Well, I suppose you are right. I had to try anyway. I guess Guy, Kurenai, and Asuma answer will be the same as yours. I guess I will ask Genma, Yamato, and Alba. Well, Kakashi, I will see you then. Kakashi nodded, then disappeared in a puff of smoke. Tsunade placed her hand on her chin. She looked very bored, to say the least. Tsunade looked to her left, then to her right. She opened her drawer and pulled out the latest edition of Ica Ica Paradise. Jiraiya, I must admit this is a damn good book, but you're still a pervert. A good writer you are, but a pervert nonetheless. So that's why Yuki and Rokoa broke up. I knew V was a slut. The Hokage looked up every so often to make sure that no one barged in on her and one of her guilty pleasures. Sasuke was walking through the village looking for Chuji. He had seen Ino and informed her to meet Sakura and the rest at the gate. On his way looking for Chuji, he ran into Shikamaru and Temari. To his surprise, Shikamaru had no idea where Chuji was at. Sasuke continued to walk looking for the Junin. Sasuke was walking when he saw Chuji walking down the street with a grocery bag. Sasuke called to get his attention, Chuji. Chuji turned around to see who was calling him. When he saw Sasuke, he narrowed his eyes. What do you want, Uchiha? Tsunade-sama ordered me to inform you that you have a mission. You are to meet Ino, Sakura, Neji, and Kiba at the North Gate ASAP. Sasuke informed Chuji. Alright, if there isn't anything else, I'm off. Chuji walked off, heading towards his house. Sasuke went in the opposite direction. His destination was the Uchiha compound. I have to get stronger. Since I've copied Naruto's speed with my Sharingan, it should take me no time to catch up to his speed. The next time I use Susanoo, it should put me over the edge with speed and power to beat him. But I will have to save our fight for after this war. I will catch you, Naruto, that is something you can count on. Sasuke smirked and continued to the Uchiha compound. Sea country. Naruto and Hayami were heading towards the dojo. She decided to tag along with Naruto, who really didn't mind. Naruto was dressed in a thin long-sleeve orange shirt with black sweats and matching color sandals. The sword that Raiho had given him was strapped over his back. He had changed from his previous outfit to get more comfort. He knew that whatever the training entailed, it was going to be hard. Hayami tapped Naruto. He looked down at the girl. Do you want something, Hayami? Naruto-Nisan, do you think you can do this training? From what I hear, it isn't easy. Father told me that it was dangerous. The little girl put her head down. Naruto bent down on one knee and lifted up her chin. I heard it was going to be dangerous too. But aren't you scared? The girl asked. Scared? Not really, just uncertain. You see, I don't know what to expect. People sometimes confuse that with fear, but it's not the same. Even if I did fear the training, wouldn't it be better to face it than to avoid it? I guess. The girl spoke a low tone. It's all right to be afraid. Right now you're afraid for me, but I promise that I will be all right. In truth, fear is something that can make you stronger. When I was 12, I was afraid of this kid who seemed stronger than me. But to protect my friends at the time, I overcame it. I do fear things, I mean everyone does, even if they don't show it. It's what you do that either makes you one of the cowards or one of the brave. Anyway, I'm sure your father wouldn't let anything bad happen. Naruto said, reassuring the girl. She looked up and smiled at him. Okay. Do your best, Naruto-Nisan. Naruto got up off of his knee and touched the girl's shoulder. I will give my all. You have training to do, you should get to it so you can become stronger. You're right, will I have to go? I will see you later, Naruto-Nisan. The girl ran off in the direction that they came from. Naruto looked at the girl run off and smiled. He turned back around to see Raiho stand at the doors to the dojo. Raiho faced illustrated his seriousness. Naruto only saw his sensei like this on rare occasions. Naruto continued to walk until he reached the dojo. When he arrived in front of his sensei, Raiho spoke. It is time, are you ready? I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Naruto answered. Raiho turned around and walked into the dojo. Follow me. Naruto followed Raiho's lead. Naruto saw that the leader of the Manashu clan was heading toward the basement stairs on the far end of the dojo. Naruto saw two samurai standing opposite side of the hole in the floor. Raiho continued to walk, eventually going down the stairs. Naruto followed him down the stairs into the tunnel. When Naruto and Raiho reached the bottom of the steps, Naruto looked back to see the two samurai that were stand on both sides of the opening closing it up. The little cave-like entrance was dimly lit by candles. The two continued down the stairs without saying much. 3 minutes passed and they were still heading downstairs. Naruto was sure that they going to the center of the earth, but they finally reached the end of the stairs. Naruto saw 3 doors. He noted that they each said different things. The door on the left said, will, the door on the right said, faith, and the one in the center said, heart. Raiho motioned for Naruto to follow him. Raiho went to the door on the left. Raiho and Naruto walked through the door. Naruto was shocked to say the least. The room was a landscape. Naruto looked up in to see how could this place be bright as if it were daytime. He was more shocked that he didn't see artificial sunlight. Raiho put a hand on his shoulder. Amazing, isn't it? This room was created over 400 years ago. The landscape and everything is real. We're deep under the compound. This room amazes even me every time I see it. I understand where the water comes from, I even understand the trees, and how the mini mountains were formed, but I will never understand how it is always bright in here. My father tried to explain it to me once. He said that his father told him that there is a gem in the form of a stone somewhere outside of the compound that channels the sunlight to the gems in the mountains, providing the light. He said that the gems hold the light energy, storing it, which is why it never gets dark in this room. I never really did understand, but whatever. Naruto nodded, not really understanding, but that wasn't really important at the moment. Naruto took his eyes off of his surroundings and turned to his sensei. I'm guessing the train will start soon, sensei. Yes, it will begin now. Raiho snapped his fingers. The clan members that Naruto saw in the dojo earlier had appeared all around him. Everyone was dressed in the same garbs. All of the members of the Manashu clan had on black keikogi, a black hakama and the traditional open-toe sandals with the white tabi. Raiho had a white sleeveless robe over his keikogi. Unlike everyone else, who had a white waist sash, Raiho's was gold and his tabi were black. Shinji stepped forward with a black robe. He handed it to his uncle. Raiho took the robe from his nephew and held it out for Naruto to take. Naruto, you will have to put this on. Also, you must give me your sword for a moment. Naruto handed Raiho his sword, while Raiho handed Naruto the black robe. Raiho tied a white string at the hilt of his sword. At the end of the string, a medal, with the words, "will," written on it, hung from it. Raiho handed Naruto back his sword. Naruto just shrugged, he didn't see what was so special by doing this. Shinji looked to one of the samurai behind Naruto and nodded. The man walked up to Naruto and placed the sash around Naruto's waist with the same words. Naruto looked down at the sash and then back to his sensei. So what happens now? Raiho smirked. This. Raiho took out silver pendant. He threw the pendant to the ground. He then unsheathed Heaven's blade. Few got to see the sword, for many it was the first time, but it was a sight to behold. The sword was crystal clear. The hilt was usually the only thing that everyone saw, and that was amazing as well. A white gold pommel, a porcelain grip, and a white gold cross guard that took the form of angle wings. The sword was gorgeous, it was as if God forged it himself. Raiho brought the sword down on the pendant. A blue light covered the whole landscape. The light died down after a couple of seconds. Raiho placed his sword back into its sheath. Naruto felt a difference not only in his sword, but also in the robe that he was wearing. Raiho smirked when he saw Naruto drop to one knee. Allow me to explain, Naruto. The pendant that I just struck created a field throughout the whole landscape that activates the artifacts, and judging by your position, you now see what has happened. The weight of your sword has increased as well as your robe. Raiho informed him. Naruto, grimacing from the weight but gave his sensei a smirk. I get it. This will help me increase my speed and power, right? Wrong. That is not the purpose of this trial. Raiho answered. Naruto was now confused. If that isn't the purpose, then what is? Raiho closed his eyes and smirked at his apprentice. I told you already, it's to test your will. Raiho opened his eyes and unsheathed the sword he had before obtaining the Heaven's blade. The other samurai followed suit. Stand, Naruto, and defend yourself, Raiho said in a commanding voice. Naruto struggled to stand. Naruto got into a defensive position with his sword. Naruto was about to release his gravity seals, but Raiho interrupted him before he did so. I almost forgot, you are not to release your gravity seals. You will fight as is that understood? Naruto nodded. He looked to his left to see everyone was in an attack stance. So, everyone will attack me. I don't have the speed to keep up, and I can't release my seals to gain the speed that I need. I'm in one hell of a spot. Oh well, I just have to deal. Naruto was patently waiting for someone to attack. His eyes shot from person to person. He gripped his sword tighter. Raiho inched forward preparing to attack. However, a samurai from Naruto's right jumped at him. Before Naruto knew it, everyone was coming at him full force. Location unknown. Hinata and Naya were now outside in the back of the house. The two were standing opposite each other. The Hyuga was now dressed in the clothes that Naya had given her. Hinata, we will now start the second part of the training. I told you before that I might not be as strong as Tsunade, but I am pretty strong. I will not hold back against you, so don't hold back against me. Hinata nodded. Both women shifted into a fighting stance. Hinata activated her Byakugan and shifted into the Yukan stance. Naya studied Hinata, she's using her Yukan. I have to be careful and counter her palm strikes by sending chakra to my hands to disperse hers. I can't hold back, simply because of the potential the Byakugan holds. Naya charged at Hinata. This confused the Hyuga greatly. Doesn't she know of the Yukan and what it is capable of? I won't try to harm her. Hinata thrust her palm forward, aiming for Naya's shoulder. Her intention was to stop the chakra flow from in her arm, leaving her at disadvantage. Hinata's plan didn't work. Naya dipped under the strike aimed for her shoulder. This left Hinata off balance and unable to defend. She brought back her fist, struck the girl in the ribs, that followed up with a spinning back heel kick, sending Hinata flying, a crash landing a few yards away. Hinata slowly got up and wiped the blood from her lip. Compassion for your enemy can lead to a ninja's demise. You could have easily struck me in the heart, but you choose to cut the flow of chakra from my arm. I told you to fight with everything you had. Don't worry about if you can hurt me with your Yukan, just worry about winning. Naya said, hoping that this would make Hinata fight her seriously. Hinata shifted back into her fighting stance. Naya waited for the girl to attack, but she never did. She decided to attack to speed things up. Naya disappeared and appeared behind Hinata, who blocked the kick aimed for her head. Hinata tried to strike Naya in the left side of her chest, but Naya countered with her palm. Hinata's eyes went wide, realizing what her sensei did. She jumped back to create distance between them. Are you surprised? I told you not to worry about using your yuken on me. Naya said to the shocked girl. You cancelled my yuken. You dispersed the chakra in my hand by forming chakra in your own. Hinata stated. She can cancel my yuken. I probably can use it if she slips, but that isn't likely. I hope she doesn't slip. I really don't want to hurt Naya-sensei. Quote. Hinata shifted back in her fighting stance. Naya didn't take one. She waited for the girl to attack. Hinata attacked Naya, but Naya could sense that the girl was still pulling some punches. Why is she still holding back? She's too soft. Naya backflipped to avoid Hinata's leg sweep. When she landed, she did the necessary hand seals to perform the Kaiten, Hausenka no Jutsu. Hinata jumped in the air to evade the technique, but Naya was above her. The seal mistress performed a front flip back heel kick, which sent the girl crashing into the ground. Hinata was about get up, but Naya landed on top of her with a kunai to her throat. See what happens when you hold back. You put yourself in danger as well as others. If this was a mission, you would be dead because of your unwillingness to cause harm. There is a time to be nice, Hinata, and then there is a time not to. Being nice all the time doesn't work, as I'm sure you have seen. Your own father placed the caged bird seal on you because of your weakness. This is the real world, Hinata. Being nice all the time will get you killed. I'm curious, you are the oldest, yet your father placed the seal on you. Why is that? Naya asked after giving her little speech. My sister, who is 5 years younger than I, is stronger. My father see me as weak and unworthy of being clan head and his daughter. Hinata informed the women, who held a kunai to her throat, with a sad look. Pitying yourself for not being daddy's favorite and living up to his standards. You truly are weak. Naya got off of Hinata. She then turned her back on the girl and walked away. I don't have time to train with someone who holds back. When you're ready to fight, let me know. Hinata put her head down, ashamed of her actions. She clenched her fist and closed her eyes, forcing some tears to fall. Why am I so weak? First father, now Naya-sensei. I let everyone down that placed their faith in me. Why? All I ever wanted was to change and become stronger. Even after working as hard as I did, the results are the same. I'm still that weak little girl. Hinata had a flashback of the scene that transpired when she was 12. Kurenai came to tell her father that she was taking Hinata under her wing and that her missions would be dangerous. What her father said was something that always stayed with her. Flashback. Do as you like with her. A defect who is even weaker than Hanabi, someone 5 years her junior, is not needed in Hyuga. End flashback. Hinata fist clenched tighter as the memory of Neji and herself in the Chunin prelims came to her. Flashback. You're not suited to become a ninja. People cannot change. A failure is a failure. End of flashback. Her fist clenched even tighter at a recent memory of her father. Flashback. All you ever do is try and fail miserably. In my eyes you are pathetic. End of flashback. Blood was now coming from Hinata's fists. The memory of her last time here with Naruto came to her. Flashback. Hinata, you're too nice of a person. If I learned anything is that when you're too nice, people will walk all over you. I know you're not happy and I know you don't think that having the seal is for the best. So tell me, Hinata, what do you want? End of flashback. Hinata's head shot up, her eyes now focused on the retreating Naya. She said in a low tone to herself, answer Naruto's question, I want to be strong like you, Naruto-kun. Hinata grabbed a kunai from her pouch and threw it at Naya. Naya was heading back to the house when she heard the sound of the kunai in the air heading straight for her head. Naya jumped out of the way, avoiding the kunai. Landing in a crouching position on the ground, Naya looked up to see the young girl glaring at her. Hinata spoke in a low but serious tone, we're not done yet. I promised I would give my all in this training, and I never go back on my word. That is my nindo. Naya stood up from her crouching position, so she shares the same nindo as Naruto. I can see that she won't be holding back anymore. Good, now I can see how strong she really is. Hinata wasted no time blurring out of sight and appearing in front of Naya. Naya was the defensive and Hinata was giving it everything. The seal mistress was evading palm strikes, and countering when she could. Naya was impressed with Hinata, this girl is giving it her all. So this is what she's like when she isn't holding back. The leaf definitely has a diamond in the rough. The only thing holding her back was her confidence and her unwillingness to hurt. I don't know where either went, but something changed. Hinata kept striking. I'm not weak, I'm not pathetic, and I'm not worthless. I will prove to everyone that I can be strong too. Hinata didn't realize that her drive allowed her to place a kick in Naya's stomach. Naya's eyes went wide and she doubled over. Hinata stopped her onslaught. She went to comfort her sensei. Naya-sensei, I'm so sorry, I didn't. Hinata was sent flying when a fist connected to her face. Don't ever stop again, Naya said. Hinata rose and got back in her fighting stance. Naya studied Hinata to see if she lost her edge, but she hadn't. So her resolve hasn't changed, which is good, but she is still the caring person. I guess it will take time to get her to fight without worrying about hurting someone she's on friendly terms with. Hinata went on the attack again. Naya smiled, come girl, show me what you got. Konoha later in the afternoon. Tsunade was sitting at her desk. Shizune, Anko, Kakashi, Ibiki, Alba, Guy, Kurenai, Asuma, Shino, Izumo, Kotetsu, Genma, Yamato, and a couple of other Junins were standing in the background. Senziru stood before Tsunade in a black tunic with match-coloring sweats and sandals. His headband was around his forehead, Tsunade had given it back to him last night. Everyone was smiling, except Kurenai, who had avoided making eye contact with him. On behalf of the village hidden in the leaves, I the Godime Hokage, hereby promote you to Junin. On a more personal note, welcome back son. Tsunade gave him a genuine smile which he returned. I'm glad to be back but I don't feel right without the vest. Senziru told Tsunade. Well, Asuma asked permission to give you the vest. He said he wanted to customize it. You will have to talk to him about that. Everyone turned to Asuma. How responded the question that he predicted Senziru would ask. I had a tailor customize your vest personally. It should be ready soon, don't worry, I think you're going to like it. Tsunade spoke once more, gaining everyone's attention. This promotion ceremony wasn't the only reason why I called you all here. You all know that the Chunin exams are coming up in 6 months and a new batch of Genins will be graduating from the academy in about a week. I need some volunteers for Junin instructor, any volunteers? Asuma spoke first. I wouldn't want to take on another Genin team, I had a hard time dealing with the one I had. Guy spoke next. I had the perfect Genin team and I don't think they would live up to the standards that my youthful students have set. However, if Kakashi takes on a team, I will have to make sure my rival doesn't upstage me. Well, that excludes you. Kakashi turned down my offer earlier. Tsunade said to the green spandex wearing Nin. Kurenai spoke, I decline. Anko gave a sinister smile, I don't mind taking on a Genin squad, I think it would be fun. She finished by licking her lips. Kakashi glanced at Anko. Anko with a team, I pray for the unlucky souls placed in her squad. Alba spoke next, I guess I could try to take on a Genin squad, I'm in as well. Genma switched the toothpick in his mouth from one side to the other before responding, geez, I guess I should take a team on. I've been avoiding it for a while now, best get over with, I'm in. Yamato was the next to respond, well, I guess it couldn't hurt to take a squad on. Shino spoke next, I decline. I'm not as experienced and I don't feel I would be good as a Junin sensei at the moment. Tsunade spoke once more, I have 4, I need at least 5 more seeing as all 27 students need to be divided into groups of 3. That leaves a total of 9 potential instructors. Who else is willing to step up? Senziru spoke, if it isn't too much trouble, I would like to take on a team. I know you want the Genins to be trained and ready to take the exams. I feel that I can do that. So, I'm in. Everyone was quiet. Tsunade finally broke the silence. You just got back, are you sure that you want to take on a team? If it helps the village then I am positive. Senziru answered. Tsunade nodded, very well, anyone else? 4 other Junins volunteered to take on a team. Tsunade spoke, okay, it seems I have filled the spots for Junin instructors. We will all meet here in 1 week and I will give you the details of your squads. Should they pass or fail is up to you. You all are dismissed. All of the assembled Junins left her office except Shizune. She looked to her assistant. Send for Gaara, I would like to speak to him. Yes, Tsunade-sama, I will get right on it. Shizune exited and headed off to find Gaara, leaving the Godime by herself. Senziru was looking for Kurenai, but she immediately disappeared when they exited Tsunade's office. He was walking down the street, think of what he would say to her. He turned around when he heard Asuma call his name. Hey Senziru, come walk with me. I was on the way to pick up your vest. Well, I'm not doing nothing else, sure, let's walk. We can catch up. Both Junins headed towards the tailor. Senziru spoke first. So what's been going on since I've been away? Well, I'm sure you know about our village being attacked by sound and sand. Also, we had to deal with an organization known as Akatsuki. Since we were allied with the sand and the fact that their Kazekage is a Jinchuruki, we aided them in defeating Akatsuki. The war between this village and Cloud is the only thing that has been going on. Asuma informed his former teammate. What about the people in the village? I didn't see Rin, what happened to her? Senziru questioned. She left the village years ago. But to get the details you have to question Kakashi, he is the only one that knows what really happened. Asuma informed him. Oh, what about Kurenai, tell me about her. Senziru asked. Kurenai, well, when you were assumed dead, it took her a long time to recover. She chose to avoid missions and remain a Chunin until she was 27. She has changed a lot, but she is still the same, if that makes any sense. Asuma informed him. I see. Asuma, do you know where she is? The newly appointed Junin asked in an almost pleading tone. Nope. Let's not worry about that now, shall we? We have to get your new vest. Asuma said, changing the subject of Kurenai. Senziru gave the Sarutobi a slight smile, but his mind was still on Kurenai. Asuma's mind was thinking about Senziru and Kurenai as well. Senziru, I know you care for Kurenai, but so do I. I said not much has changed, but that is something that has. You are one of my good friends, but I won't step aside just because you're back in the picture. I'm sorry, friend, but I love her just as much as you do. The two kept walking, oblivious of the other's thoughts. The two arrived at the tailor. The tailor smiled at Asuma. Asuma-san, that vest you asked for is ready. Here you go. The tailor handed Asuma the Junin vest. The only visible difference between Asuma's vest and the vest that was to be Senziru's was the color. Unlike the traditional green, this vest was black. In the red swirl on the back, there was a design of a black phoenix. Asuma handed the vest to Senziru. This vest is yours. What do you think? Senziru looked all over the vest. I like it a lot. Thanks, man, you didn't have to do this. The newly appointed Junin put on the vest. Asuma turned to the tailor. Thanks, Haruto, you did a great job. It was nothing. By the way, who is your friend? Oh, this is Senziru. Senziru, this is Haruto. He started his tailoring business about 8 years ago and he is one of the best. When I need a patch-up job I go to him. Asuma said proudly. Haruto blushed at the compliment that Asuma gave him. I'm not the best, but I put my best effort into what I do. Well, I have a lot more to do before I close today, but if you guys need my services then don't hesitate to come to me. Both men nodded, then headed to the door. They waved goodbye to Haruto and went on their way. When they got outside of the shop, Asuma looked at Senziru. Well, I have other things to tend to. I don't think I'm going to be free for the rest of the day, so I will probably see you tomorrow. Later. Yay, later, man, and thanks for the vest, I really like it. Don't mention it. Asuma walked off. Senziru watched his friend walk off. He turned around and headed in the opposite direction. His goal was to find Kurenai. Northwest of Konoha, the team comprised of Neji, Sakura, Kiba, Ino, and Chuji headed for Waterfall Village. Neji stopped and everyone followed suit. He pulled out a map, everyone gathered around. Sakura, you've been to the Waterfall country and the hidden Waterfall Village before. I've never been to the village, but I know where it is located. According to sources, it's located next to a large waterfall, however not many have seen it. My question is where it is exactly. Neji asked. It's located exactly where you said. Sakura answered. How is that so, Sakura? Kiba asked. The village is reached by traveling inside the waterfall. Unlike every other village, the Waterfall Village is truly hidden. Your Byakugan will be very useful for this mission, Neji. The village is hidden to the naked eye, but not to the Byakugan. I think that's why Tsunade selected you for this mission. Sakura informed him. The village is really hidden inside the waterfall? Chuji asked. Yes. There are pathways at the base of the waterfall that allows one to enter the village, however, taking the wrong path can be deadly. Sakura informed them. Here I thought this was going to be an easy mission. Ino complained. Well, we can't dwell on that, we should be heading out before it gets too late to travel. Neji said to his team. The group agreed. They continued their trek to Waterfall. Sea Country. About 5 hours passed since Naruto entered the chamber. Naruto was on one knee using his sword to hold him up. He was looking around to see if he could see anyone. Everyone was hiding from him. His clothes were ragged. He had cut marks all over his body. A cut on his cheek was slowly leaking blood. Naruto stood up and got back into a stance. Raiho was observing his student from afar. He's still standing after our attacks. His will not to give up truly is strong. Naruto kept looking around. One of the samurai appeared above him. The samurai aimed his strike for the top of Naruto's head. Naruto blocked the attack, causing the samurai to jump back. Another warrior came at him from the right. Naruto blocked his attack and quickly had to block an attack on his left. He was unsuccessful at blocking an attack from behind. The slash to the back caused him to fall forward. Shinji, who caused the slash, looked at the fall warrior. Raiho and the rest of the samurai landed next to Shinji. Raiho addressed Naruto. Give up, Naruto, you are at your wit's end. The only way you can get out of this bind if you call on the fox, which I forbid you to do. You're probably wondering how I know. Let's just say I know your other sensei. So what are you going to do, Naruto? Naruto struggled to get on his feet. He had to use his sword as a crutch. When he finally stood, Naruto got back in his stance. I don't need the power of the fox. I can do this on my own. I promised myself I would never give up a long time ago, and I never take back my word. That is my Nindo. Ryuho smiled at his student's will to continue in spite of the situation being bleak for him. Raiho looked to his left and right, signaling everyone to surround Naruto. Naruto watched himself being surrounded. He looked at his sensei. Am I supposed be scared shitless and back down? Bring it on, you bastards. Uzumaki Naruto doesn't run from anyone. They all rushed Naruto. They attacked with everything they had. He blocked and took more damage to the body. Naruto was being held up on his will alone. Raiho stood back and watched his student be attacked. Naruto was doing the best he could to block and attack, but the reduced in speed forced him to stay on the defensive. Raiho felt a pulse come from his sword. When he looked down at the sword, it was glowing. So it seems you approve of his will. Very well, he passes the test. Raiho placed his hand on the hilt and in blinding speed appeared in front of Naruto. He did one swift upward strike, cutting Naruto across the chest, sending Naruto flying to the right. Naruto hit the ground with a loud thud. Everyone was looking at Raiho in awe. He sheathed the sword again and walked up to Naruto's unconscious form. The samurai warriors appeared on both sides of him. Shinji, who was next to Raiho, spoke. It looks like he passed the first trial. Yes, the sword has acknowledged his strong will. The boy refused to never give up, no matter how long the odds were, is the reason why he passed. Raiho bent down and smiled at Naruto. You passed the first trial, Naruto. The true purpose of this test was to test your will to never give up. In my eyes, you passed with flying colors and I couldn't be more proud. Your next test will be just as hard, Naruto. I hope you are ready. Raiho threw the unconscious Naruto over his shoulder. He turned to everyone with Naruto over his shoulder. Come everyone, we are heading back to the compound. When he wakes up he will take the next test. How long do you think he will be out, Raiho-sama? One of the younger samurai asked. I don't know. It could be anywhere from a day to a week. Let's just get his wounds tended to. Raiho and everyone head back to the compound. An hour later, Naruto was now wrapped in bandages. He had gauzes on his face, covering up cuts. He lay in the bed of the room that was provided for him. Hayami was by his side crying. Her father walked in to check on her. The girl looked up. Naruto-Nisan will be okay, right? Her father gave her a reassuring smile. Yes, he will be fine. Don't worry, he'll be back on his feet before you know it. Besides, what would Naruto think of you sitting here crying? The little girl wiped her eyes. He wouldn't want me to cry. No, he wouldn't. Come Hayami and let Naruto rest. Hayami followed her father but stopped at the door to look back at Naruto. She looked closely to see that he had a smile on his face. She smiled and then followed her father to let her brother rest. 9 p.m. in Konoha. Senziru was still looking for Kurenai. He made a stop at the memorial stone to see if anyone he knew was on it. He found a few names that he knew, he even found his own. He put his hand in his pockets and walked away from the stone. He decided to try and talk to her in the morning. He walked through the training grounds back to the village. Senziru was walking when he heard someone training nearby. He decided to head in the direction where he heard the training come from. He decided to hide in the bushes not to alert the person. When he peeked through the bushes he saw Kurenai going to work on the post. Kurenai kept kicking and punching the post. I hate him. What about me? He could have told me he was alive. Was I not important to that bastard? Love me, PFT, what a total crock of bull. He doesn't love me. If he did, Kurenai stopped hitting the post and fell to her knees with tears in her eyes. If he did he would have came back to me. Senziru stepped out from the bushes. I have. Kurenai turned to the direction of the voice. Her eyes narrowed. You. She charged him. She aimed a kick at his head that was blocked with little effort. Kurenai kept punching and kicking but he blocked everything with ease. Kurenai distanced herself from him. Senziru looked at her with an apologetic look. Kurenai said in a low tone, why didn't you come back to me? Why did you leave me alone? I'm not going to make he excuses, but I couldn't come back. If you will allow me to, I would tell you what I was up to and my reason for not coming back until now. Please Kurenai, all I want is to explain the events up to when I disappeared, please. Kurenai reluctantly nodded. Fine, talk. It's a long story, bear with me. Senziru told her. I have the time. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. Senziru started to tell Kurenai his story. He hoped she would understand why he couldn't come back to her, his family, and home. Back in Sea Country, Hayami went back to Naruto's room after dinner and her bath. She propped his pillow. She then straightened his sheets. She was trying to make him as comfortable as possible. Her mother and her father walked in but there was guy with them she didn't recognize. The white-haired man walked up to Naruto and looked him over. He looks horrible, Raiho. Don't worry, he should be up and about in 2 to 3 days. Hayami looked at the man. Are you a doctor, sir? Jiraiya looked at the little girl who was on the other side of Naruto's bed. Me. No, I'm just checking up on my student. I'm Jiraiya. What is your name, sweetie? I'm Hayami. It's nice to meet you, sir. I have a question, sir. What is it? Jiraiya asked. Are you certain that Naruto-Nisan will be okay in 2 to 3 days? Well, I'm not certain. You see, Naruto healing ability is different from everyone else. He recovers from injuries at a remarkable pace. His injuries don't seem to be too serious, so I expect he should be up and running in 2 to 3 days. Jiraiya told the little girl. That's good to hear, the girl said with relief. You should go to bed, young lady. Kaori told her daughter. Mom, can I sleep in her tonight? I won't bother Nisan, I will be quiet, I promise. The girl pleaded. No dear, if you stay you won't get any sleep. You'll be up all night watching him. Sorry dear, it's your bedtime. Okay, I'll go. The girl slumped her shoulders in defeat and walked out of the room. Jiraiya looked at the girl exit, then at Kaori. She must really care for him. Yes, she does. Do you think he will be up in 2 to 3 days? Kaori asked. Yes, he will. When he wakes up I will seal off the QB power. You did say you didn't want him having access to that chakra, right? Yes, but it is a part of him. Don't seal it off, it will make the next test that much harder. Raiho said. Jiraiya wondered what Raiho meant. Do you care to explain why? You told me that Naruto choose not use the fox's chakra. Today, when he was in need and desperate he almost used it. Now I'm not saying that using it is bad, but it showed his lack of faith in himself. The next trial will test his faith in his abilities and himself, which is why I've decided to not have you seal of the fox's chakra. Raiho explained his reason. Jiraiya understood what he was getting at. Looks like he has rough trial ahead of him, it seems. Yes, he does, but if he is remotely close to the Naruto that I seen today when we did the final assault, then he should be fine. Raiho told the Sannin. Jiraiya looked back at Naruto's unconscious form. I don't doubt you at all. Dawn in the hidden leaf was always a sight to behold. Yuhi Kurenai was sitting on the roof of her apartment complex with her knees buried into her chest. She was thinking over what happened last night and the story that Senziru had told her. She really wanted to hate him, but she was now confused more than any other time in her life. She loves Asuma, that much she knows. However, her love for Senziru never faded. Flashback. Senziru took a step closer towards her. That battle, I didn't expect to survive. The technique didn't go through properly, because I was also trying to take out Shikaku-sensei's opponent as well. My guess as to what happened is that I was blown hundreds of yards away for not executing it correctly. The next thing I remember is waking up in a hut and being tended to by an old man. I was informed that I was out for weeks. He was surprised that I even survived. I was too. He told me that when he came upon my body, that my breathing was shallow, but the tattoo on my left arm was glowing orange. I didn't know why until I had enough strength to summon a phoenix, which wasn't for about 2 weeks. He healed me and I had intended to come home, but he knew what my tattoo represented and he made me an offer. Kurenai looked at him with a questioning look. What was the offer? He said that if I wanted to get stronger, he would take me to a man he knew, to help train. At first, I was about to say no, but then I thought about Mother, Shizune, Asuma, Sensei, and you. So, I decided to take him up on his offer. A means to an end, eh? Senziru laughed to try and lighten the mood. It didn't work. Kurenai narrowed her eyes. He quickly spoke in hopes of not making her mad. Well, moving along, he took me to his friend, Taizen Gogyu, who was skilled in taijutsu and kenjutsu. In fact, his sword style, my sword style, the Divine Wrath, is the brother style of the Heavenly Sword, similar principles but different in many ways. So, what happened while training with this Gogyu guy? Kurenai asked, seemingly interested. I trained under him until I was about 22. It took me up until I was 20 to master his sword style and his fighting style, about another 2 years. It wasn't hard, since taijutsu was always one of my strong points, plus training with my mother since I could walk helped too. He informed the women he cared for deeply. Why didn't you come back after your training? What is the reason for that? She asked him with a hint of anger in her voice. Not really a reason, just something I had to do. What was so important that you couldn't let your family and your friends know you were alive? She asked. Senziru looked down at the ground as if he was angry with it, while clenching his fist. My vow to uphold my master's dying words. After my training was complete, I was going to return to the village. I went to a town about 2 days away from my master's location to stock up on goods for the trip back to Konoha. When I got back, he was cut up and bleeding. He told me while he was dying that a cloud nin, named Azu, with the legendary Dragon's Fang, had attacked him using the Wicked Wind style. My master then told me his reason for training me. He told me that his friend saw the tattoo on my arm and knew that I had the Phoenix contract. It was his duty, as the user of the Divine Wrath, to protect the map and keep the location of the map hidden. It was also the duty to protect the location of the Dragon's Lair, but that was lost in the destruction of his people about 20 years prior. He told me of the legendary Phoenix Claw, which was my first time hearing about it. So what did he tell you next? Kurenai asked. He told me that he had a map with the location to the Phoenix's nest. He told me where it was and that I should burn it when I get it. He also told me that I needed to return to the nest, and after that seek out Manashu Raiho. I knew going to the nest was for the purpose of getting the sword, I didn't know what the other part was for. With his last words, he told me that I had to get stronger because the look in that Cloud Nin's eyes showed nothing but evil and destruction. He then died in my arms. Senziru said the last part in a low tone. Kurenai couldn't respond. Losing someone close to you was always painful, she knew that. However, she had to press on to find out more. I'm sorry to hear about your sensei, but could you tell me, what did you do for the next 12 years? Well, I did what my sensei said and went back to the cave known as the Phoenix's Nest. This time I summoned the boss of the Phoenix, Xenos. He presented me with the sword. He told me it would be a while, as in years, to learn how to use the sword to its full capacity and that I should train within the lair to learn how. I didn't have time for years. My objective was to fulfill my sensei's dying wish. I left after 2 months of training. I thought that was all the time I needed to master the sword. I was wrong, but I wouldn't learn that lesson until 2 years later. I traveled around for about 1.5 years, honing my skills, then I did what my sensei said. I sought out Raiho. When I went to Sea Country, I found out that he had just left for the Wind Country on clan business. I decided to track him down. He told Kurenai. Did you meet him in Wind Country? Yes, I confronted him and told him the story of what happened to my sensei and that my sensei ordered me to seek him out. I asked why. He told me the history of both clans, their purpose, and of the Taizen clan and the Manashu clan's duty to the world. The Taizen clan was to protect the locations of the mythical contracts. The Manashu clan was entrusted with the Heaven's Blade. Unlike Heaven's Blade and the Phoenix Summon, the Dragon Summon didn't select its wielder based on their good-hearted nature. The Dragon Contract selected the person based on their power to wield it alone, which is why it needed to be protected from falling into the wrong hands. He told me he knew why my sensei asked him to seek me out. He told me it was to see if I was ready to go up against a user of the Wicked Wind, who took out my master. So you had to fight him? Kurenai questioned Senziru. Senziru answered, yes, the battle was very intense. I didn't realize how strong I had become in that 9-year span away from Konoha. The battle was intense, but in the end we drew even. He told me that I was good enough to take on a user of that style and left me in the field. I always wanted to finish that fight, but we never did. The next thing that needed to be done was to confront Aizu, but I couldn't just walk into the cloud and confront one of their own. Did you ever find the Nin? He smiled. It is funny how fate works out. I was actually in Bird Country. I was trying to formulate a plan on how I could locate this Nin. My next stop was Rain Country, but I would never get there. I was ambushed by a couple of Cloud Nins who mistook me for a missing Nin. They attacked and I dispatched them rather quickly. However, I was then confronted by the face that I used my Angel of Death technique on. Kurenai was shocked beyond belief. He survived, but how? I told you that I didn't execute it correctly, because I focused on taking out Shikaku-sensei's enemy as well. Anyway, that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is that he pulled out the blade that my sensei described. I told you it's funny how fate works. Senziru informed her. Did you fulfill your sensei's dying wish? Kurenai wanted to know if he killed the Nin that she last saw him fight. No, in fact he is very much alive. But our last battle put him on the edge. He had more experience using his sword than I did, but I was skilled enough to make him retreat. I realized that if I had stayed and honed my skills with the sword, like Zeno suggested, I would have won that battle. I knew it was pointless to pursue a ninja, so I decided to go and do what Zeno suggested to do in the first place. The next 6 years I training in the Phoenix's Nest, learning all I need to know about the sword, as well as honing my skills with it. So, you finished training 2 years ago. What did you do during the past 2 years? Kurenai asked. He gave his response. Observing events unfold. You remember a year ago, when Naruto slaughtered all those Nins in the lands of Earth and Rain? She nodded, causing him to continue. The cloud was behind the whole thing. After they formed their alliances with the Rain and Rock, the Raikage suggested that they could strengthen their nations by learning the technique of the Manashu clan. He suggested that they kidnap the daughter of the clan head. So that's why Naruto killed all of those Nins. Kurenai said to herself, finally understanding his actions. Yes, but the goal was to strengthen the Rock and the Rain so they could attack the Leaf alongside the Cloud. Naruto spoiled their plans by bringing her back home safely. Senziru informed her. But the Cloud still declared war on us. Kurenai informed him. Yes, and they would have regardless. Aizu, the Godime Raikage, is interested in controlling all of the nations. The reason he attacked Konoha was because of the potential threat it posed and to draw me out. I was trying to catch him, but he decided to catch me. I'm sure Carson informed all Junins and Chunins yesterday of what will happen in the exams coming in 6 months. Yuhi Kurenai nodded. Yes, she believes that it will be the Sand and Sound invasion, all over again. I figured out his actions, so I decided it was time to return home. He walked up to her and stroked her cheek. It was time to come back and protect everything that I love. Kurenai backed away. You can't just come back and expect us to pick up where we left off. I know. He looked up to star-decorated sky. Do you remember the night we spent under the sakura tree in the woods? Kurenai wondered where he was going with this. How could he ask her a question like that? It was the night she lost her virginity to the man she vowed to always love. The night was one of the fondest memories of her life. She remembers the two of them lying under the petals, looking at the starlight sky. He looked at her. I was just thinking about what you said. Kurenai remembered the night and everything about it like it was yesterday, but she decided to play dumb. What did I say? He looked back at the sky and gazed upon the moon with a sad look. I broke 2 promises. One that I made to myself and the one that I made to you. When we were little, I knew you were special, even though you treated me like I was a nuisance. I was glad when we got on the same team. It was a dream come true for me. When your father died on a mission a year into us being on the same squad, I remember the sadness and how you would cry every time you were alone. You were in pain and I promised myself I would protect you from experiencing pain like that again. The night we spent under the tree you asked me to promise that I would never leave you and I promised I wouldn't. That night was the first time that I told you that I loved and I would always be there for you. Kurenai was in tears. Why are you doing this? He looked back at her and smiled. Because I love you. He placed his hand under her chin and elevated her head. Looking into her teary eyes, he inched closer to kiss her. Kurenai closed her eyes and did the same. When they got an inch away from each other's lips, Kurenai broke free from the hand that held her chin. I can't do this. A lot has changed while you were gone, you know. I'm dating Asuma now. I can't, we can't, things aren't what they used to be. Senziru felt like a knife had gone into his heart when he heard Asuma's name. But could he really get mad? No, he couldn't, and he knew Kurenai was right. But his heart didn't care about what was right, it just wanted Kurenai. Kurenai decided she needed to get away. I have things to do in the morning. I have to go. She turned around and started to walk away. Do you still love me? Senziru yelled out, freezing her in her tracks. How could she not say yes? Deep in her heart she still loved him. However, she loved Asuma too. With her back to him she spoke, yes, I never stopped. But I also love Asuma. Kurenai walked away, leaving one of the men that she loved. End of flashback. Kurenai brought her knees further into her chest as she recapped last night's events. She loved them both, but which one did she love more? Kurenai sat on the roof trying to figure out the answer to a question that she couldn't find an answer to. Waterfall country. Neji had his squad up at least 2 hours before the sun had risen. He wanted to arrive in Waterfall before noon. Although they were in water country, there was a chance that Nins from Rock was still in the country. Shinobi from the Rock have been patrolling the area. Neji glanced at Kiba, who was next to the Akamaru. Kiba, have you heard any word on Hinata? Kiba shook his. No, she still isn't allowed any visitors. I tried going to see her yesterday before I went to the Hokage's office, but Tsunade-sama order is still in effect. Ino overheard their conversation and decided to add her 2 cents. I wonder if she's okay. Chuji turned to Sakura. Sakura, don't you have any idea on Hinata's status? No, Tsunade is tending to her case personally. It's unlike Sensei to do something of this nature, but I trust her judgment. Sakura said with the utmost confidence in her sensei's decision. Ino asked Sakura a question that had been bugging her. Since Sakura and everyone came back from the mist, Sakura, how come I didn't see Naruto with you guys yesterday? Neji decided to answer. Naruto had other business to take care of. We haven't seen him since we parted ways in the mist. He said something about going to see country. Kiba wanted to know how the meeting in mist went. Sakura and Neji, would you guys give us the details about what happened in the mist? Nothing, except that Naruto was attacked by Nins from Kumo. I don't know what the cloud has against him, but they attacked him nonetheless. Neji had informed Ino, Kiba, and Chuji. Ino, who walking next to her best friend and roommate, gave her a slight nudge on the arm to get her attention. Hey Sakura, between us girls, what do you think of Tsunade-sama's son? Well, as far as looks go, he is attractive. I only met him briefly yesterday before we left, so I don't know. I'm not sure what type of personality he has. Personality is important, you know, looks aren't everything. Sakura gave her assessment. Kiba, who was walking ahead of them sort of, and then whispered to Chuji, who overheard it as well, I guess Sasuke is Mr. Personality, eh Chuji? Look at me, I'm Uchiha Sasuke, now bow down to my greatness. That's really some personality. Chuji snickered at Kiba's comment. Sakura and Ino heard the 2 guys laugh. Ino was curious at what they were laughing at. What's so funny, guys? Nothing, Ino, it's just an inside joke. Chuji informed his friend. Neji was scouting the area for enemy Nins or waterfall Nins that could provide safe passage to the hidden waterfall village. But his mind was all over the place. It kept going back to Hinata, the upcoming war, the Cloud Nin, among other things. Ino saw the look on Neji's face. To anyone else, his expression would seem like his typical look of indifference, but not to Ino. Being on quite a few missions with him, in Anbu, she knew, he was concerned about something. Neji being concerned was never a good thing. Neji, what's the matter? I can tell by that look that you are worried about something. Neji looked at Ino, this whole upcoming war. But, most of all I'm concerned about the Cloud Nin who has made Sasuke and Naruto targets. Why? Those two can take care of themselves. Ino said, trying to ease his worry. Neji spoke once more, I'm well aware of that, but to try and repeat what Orochimaru did knowing we would be prepared and having geographical advantage is a bit odd, don't you think? Also, if Naruto or Sasuke were to get killed before the war, then we would be losing two valuable shinobi. Although, those two are highly skilled, they're not immortal. Neji is right, Ino, but, I think soon it has it covered Neji. Besides, are you suggesting that we keep tabs on those two and keep them in the village, away from missions? You know as well as I do, that they would never go for it, their pride wouldn't allow it. The best we can do, is to be prepared for what's to come. It was now close to noon and Neji's squad was approaching the area near the waterfall on the map. During this time, they was discussing stuff in their personal life and previous missions, well Sakura, Ino, Chuji, and Kiba anyway. Neji on the other hand remained silent, making sure that nothing escaped his Byakugan. Sakura, Ino, Kiba, and Chuji were all talking, when Neji stopped. According to the map, this is the waterfall. Sakura looked at the waterfall that Neji had pointed out, looks like we have arrived. That cave over there is the entrance. We're going to have to swim through the tunnels in the cave to get to the ville. Sakura and everyone else jumped out of the way to avoid the kunai and shuriken that came at them. Neji searched for the nins, who had attacked. The group was surrounded by approximately 20 nins from the hidden waterfall. A tall man with long brown hair saw the headbands of the approaching shinobi. Stand down, they're not our enemies. He appeared in front of Neji via Shunshin no Justu. State your purpose, or else I cannot permit you to go any further. Regardless, if you are allies, you do understand the protocols that we must abide by to protect a village. I understand completely. Our reason for coming today is by special request of the Hokage. The letter that I have here is for your village leader. The Hokage has ordered that I put this letter in his hand personally, so, if you will allow us permission to enter, we will complete our mission and be on our way. Neji had informed the waterfall shinobi of his mission. The shinobi motioned for two of his men to come next to him. They appeared next to him and awaited his orders, make sure that our guests have safe passage to the village. He turned his attention back to Neji, my men will escort you to Shibuki-sama. Neji and company followed their two escorts. All they had to do was inform the leader of the hidden waterfall and they would be on their way home. As far as Neji was concerned, the mission was by far one of the easiest missions he had in a while, but he was still on guard. Even though this village was allied with the Leaf, you never knew what could happen. He just hoped that things would go smoothly for once. Sea Country. It was a beautiful afternoon in Sea Country. The sun was shining bright over the land. Hayami stretched and yawned as she sat up in her bed. The girl was worried about Naruto and didn't get to sleep until very late. Instantly realizing that it was the next day, she jumped out of bed, and with her pajamas still on, she ran straight to Naruto's room. The girl got to his door and opened it slowly. Her eyes widened in shock as she looked at the bed. Naruto was gone. Below the compound, Raiho and Naruto were standing in front of the three doors which contained the trials. Raiho went to check up on Naruto in the middle of the night. Naruto was taking off the bandages on his body when Raiho walked in on him. He informed him that he was ready to take the next test. Raiho didn't argue with Naruto. He then told him that the next trial would begin at noon. Naruto was now standing next to his sensei, in front of the door on the far right with the word, faith, written on it. Raiho placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, are you ready? Naruto turned his head slightly, yes, let's get this test done with. Raiho opened the door, gesturing with his hands for Naruto to go before him. Naruto walked past his sensei into a room that was nothing like the last one. This room was just a very large dojo with lanterns providing a minute amount of light. The lighting reminded him of the lighting in the cave beyond the entrance. Raiho got Naruto's attention when he opened his mouth to speak. This test is a one-on-one battle between you and me. Fight me with everything you have, Naruto. You might want to release your gravity seals now. The head of the Manashu clan pulled the Heaven's Blade from its sheath. He then got into his stance. Naruto complied and did what his sensei suggested. He could feel the difference, but he knew it wouldn't help him. Not in his current condition. Even if he was healed, Raiho was still the superior fighter among the two. Also add Raiho's legendary sword to the mix, Naruto wasn't sure if he could win. He would definitely fight regardless of the situation, he just wasn't sure if he could win. Naruto grabbed the blade that was on his back. He removed it from its sheath and slipped into a fighting stance as well. Come at me, Naruto. Show me how far you have come in 3 years. Raiho said, hoping to get his student to attack. It worked to perfection. Naruto came at Raiho. Naruto brought back his sword and swung it with as much force as he could muster. Raiho blocked it with his sword with little effort. Naruto swung again, but this time Raiho blurred out of sight, appearing behind the vessel of the Kyuubi. He went to strike, but Naruto blocked the blow. Naruto blurred out of sight and was now kicking off the ceiling in the dojo. By doing this, he was accelerating towards Raiho with the intent to pierce him. Raiho jumped towards Naruto and slashed at his chest. The brightness of the sword shined so brightly at that moment, that it couldn't determine who was injured until both warriors landed a few yards away with their backs facing towards one another. It was apparent who was on the short end. Naruto fell to the ground with a gash across his stomach, blood was all over his blue shirt. Raiho turned around to address Naruto, is this all you have? Please tell me that my training you was not a waste of time. You do realize you can't beat me with simple attacks such as that. You can't beat me as you are now, you are not strong enough. Since quitting is against your Nindo, what will you do, Naruto? Naruto turned around to face his sensei with a smirk on his face. You ask the question already knowing what I'm going to say. This is far from over, sensei. I coming at you with everything I have. Raiho smiled at his student's will to continue. Naruto on the other hand was talking to the fox in the back of his mind. You a weak boy. You do not have the strength to fight this man, allow me to lend you my power. Together we can crush this fool. The fox tried his best to convince Naruto that using his chakra was the only way to win. No, I can do this by myself, I don't need your power. Naruto said, hoping his tenant would stop pestering him. Just like you didn't need my power to get you out of that Uchiha boy's genjutsu. Face it, Naruto, you need my power. You may have gotten stronger, but you need my power to win this battle and you know it. Stop procrastinating and draw on my chakra. Elevating his voice to say the last part, he knew that it was working because the boy had no response. Naruto knew the Kyuubi was right. He couldn't win this battle without drawing on his chakra. Naruto didn't want to use the fox's power, but he couldn't win without it. Facing off with someone of Raiho's caliber was just impossible to do, especially when you're weak and not completely healed. Naruto made a decision to wait and see how things went before using the Kyuubi's power. Right now, he wanted to do it himself. In Konoha, the Hokage was walking the streets of the village. She actually had enough time to take a break from her paperwork. She decided to go to a local restaurant that served some dango and sake. On her way there, she saw her son walking in the opposite direction. Senziru had no particular direction he was going in, he was just going over what Kurenai had told him. She was with Asuma now. He really wanted to be with her, but he also wanted her to be happy. His thoughts were broke by a familiar voice, deep in thought, I see. He looked up to see that his mother was standing directly in front of him. Carson, what are you doing outside of the office? I thought you had a lot of work to do. I completed most of it, so I've decided to get something to eat. Come with me. I could use the company. Senziru had nothing important to do, so he followed the Hokage. About 5 minutes later, they were in the restaurant talking and eating. He banged his head against the table. Carson, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Do you still care for her deeply? Tsunade asked. Yes, but she's happy now and I don't want to come between that, but at the same time, he paused and looked away from his mother. Tsunade finished his thought, at the same time, you want to be with her. Yes I do. I'm torn on what course of action I should take. Tsunade analyzed the situation for a moment before offering her advice. If you really care for her, then you will let her make the decision. You told me that she said she still loves you, however, she also said that she is in love with Asuma now, as well. I think that you should just let her decide what she wants. Senziru knew what his mother said was true. He decided to change the subject, because it was too painful to deal with at the moment. So, can you tell me about the Jonin candidates? Well, according to Iruka, we have some outstanding candidates. There is a Hyuga from the branch house who is pretty good, according to Iruka. He also mentioned a girl who is strong in taijutsu and a boy who is of no prestigious background of any kind, but is well-rounded and his ninjutsu is slightly above that of a genin. Other than the three that I have mentioned, everyone else is average at best. Tsunade gave him the answer to the question he asked. That doesn't bode well for Konoha, now does it, Carson? She let out a sigh. I know, but I don't expect this batch to be the next Rookie 9, that would be a tough act to follow. His eyebrow elevated slightly. Rookie 9, what do you mean by that? 6 years ago, 9 rookies straight out of the academy were selected by their Jonin instructors to take the Jonin exams. All of them advanced to the second round and 4 advanced to the finals. After hearing what his mother had told him, he was now curious at who were the Jonin instructors responsible for preparing their Jonins for the Chunin exams. Who were the Jonin instructors responsible for this? Tsunade smiled, knowing that he would be surprised at the mentioning of 2 Jonins who was on his team. Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai. Really, that is an amazing feat, truly. Do I know any of the rookies that were trained by Kakashi, Asuma, and Kurenai? Senziru asked, not knowing that he knew who 5 of them were. I believe you met Naruto and Sasuke in Mist. Aburame Shino was the young Jonin with the sunglasses and the hood on at your Jonin ceremony. You also met Sakura and Ino yesterday, they're members of the Rookie 9. Senziru slapped his forehead at the mentioning of Ino. That girl, she flirted with me the whole time you introduced me to Sakura. I wonder if she's more concerned with boys than being a ninja. Tsunade chuckled at her Senziru's comment. I think she has a slight crush, but don't let that fool you. Ino is in Anbu, along with most of the Rookie 9. So, that should speak the volume of her skills. The only members that you haven't met yet are Nara Shikamaru, Inazuka Kiba, Akamaiki Chuji, and Hyuga Hinata. Everyone from the Rookie 9 are Junins, except for her and Naruto. The latter didn't make Jonin for obvious reasons, and I think it affected the Hyuga girl. How so? She had a crush on the boy. When he was banished, she just closed herself off. I think if she didn't feel obligated to her family, she would have left with him. She became a Chunin at 14 and she only took the Jonin exams once. I would get into it more, but let's just say being the daughter of Hyuga Hiashi is not the best thing in the world for her. Tsunade said, hoping her son would understand, without her saying too much. Hiashi-san always seemed like a nice guy when he was with Yuri-san. By the way, how is Yuri-san? Does she still make great healing herbs? Senziru asked. Yuri-san died 12 years ago. Tsunade said, in an almost sad tone. Oh, I didn't know. Senziru was surprised by the information, as well, but he decided to change the subject. So what about the Nara? How is he related to Shikaku-sensei? She knew the information would please him to hear. He's Shikaku's son, but the two of them are nothing alike. I have to practically yell at that lazy-ass son of his just to get something done. However, he is one of the smartest shinobi, with an IQ over 200. He's currently our lead strategist. Wow, it seems like most of them came from prestigious backgrounds. So Carson, when do I get my first mission? Senziru asked with excitement in his voice. Tsunade took a sip of her drink before responding. Come by the office tomorrow and I will assign you a mission. However, don't expect to go anywhere outside the borders of Konoha. Senziru slumped his shoulders hearing the news. So I'm restricted to missions within Fire Country. Why don't you just say that I can go outside, but I can't leave the front yard? Tsunade giggled at his childish antics. It reminded her of when she told him he couldn't play ninja tag because he didn't do his chores. Some things just never change. 6 hours later at Manashu compound. The battle between Raiho and Naruto waged on, but Naruto was on losing end. He couldn't keep this up much longer and he knew it. Raiho was fast, stronger, and to top it off he had a legendary sword. Naruto knew that the fox was right. God damn it, boy. Why don't you draw my power? You can't beat him without me. Look at yourself, you are heavily bruised and barely standing. Without me you will lose. Come Naruto, let's show him what we can do with our power. QB knew the boy was injured. The fact of the matter was that he didn't hate Vessel losing because it would make him look weak. When Naruto was younger, the boy called on his chakra all the time, and it was usually because he needed it to win. When Naruto got older, he stopped calling on the fox altogether in battles. The boy only called on his power when he was training, getting his body used to its power. He remembered the last time the boy bit off more than he could chew. He was hoping that the boy would call on his chakra so he could take over like he did when the boy trained with the Toad Hermit. The boy told him he would use the fox when needed and that it wouldn't be likely because he would train himself more, so he wouldn't have to. QB laughed when the boy told him that. He knew the boy call on him again. It was only a matter of time, and now was that time. He just had to push a little more and Naruto would cave in. Naruto would never admit it, but he hated losing just as much as Sasuke. Raiho studied his student. He was impressed that the boy went this long, considering that he wasn't fully healed when he told him that he was ready for the second trial. As impressive as he was, he knew Naruto was losing faith in his ability. If Naruto lost complete faith in himself and his abilities, then he would surely fail this trial. Raiho smirked at Naruto, who was panting and glaring at him at the same time. What's the matter, Naruto? Getting weak? You want to call on the fox power, eh? Go ahead. You as yourself are not strong enough to face me as you are. You're weak, Naruto. In the end, you will always have to rely on that crutch to bail you out. QB knew what the man was trying to do. He couldn't let this man succeed. It was his chance to take over the kid's body. Don't listen to him, Naruto. He knows that the two of us together could win. You do want to win, Naruto, don't you? Use our power so we can do that. Naruto was listening to the fox and his sensei. Naruto came to a decision. His sensei was right. The fox was always a crutch. He used that crutch against Sasuke at the Valley of the End, he used it against Neji in the Chunin exams, and he also used it against Sasuke in his last battle without anyone knowing. Although he didn't use the QB's chakra when he got older, he still always used it when he was in need or in a bind. No, Naruto said out loud to the fox. His sensei gave him curious look. No, what is he talking about? The fox kept trying to persuade Naruto. Come, Naruto, what happened to the kid who said, please, give me power, or, break this genjutsu? This is no time to act tough. You're going to lose. Naruto smirked while responding. He was breathing hard. I said no. I don't need you for this. I can do this by myself. You might as well shut up now, because no matter what you say I will not draw from your power. So you might as well keep your ass quiet, furball. Why you little bass? QB was angry at Naruto's comment. I said shut your fucking mouth. You're breaking my concentration. Raiho thought that Naruto was crazy. He seemed to be having a conversation with himself. Raiho raised an eyebrow. You ready or do you need some more time? Naruto placed both hands on his sword and shifted into a fighting stance. I don't need any more time. Let's do this. Blue chakra erupted from Naruto's body. The chakra surrounded his body. This lasted for about a couple seconds before it died down. So he's using the last bit of his chakra to fight me. Raiho thought as he prepared himself by slipping into a stance as well. Naruto didn't waste any time jumping at Raiho. Naruto brought his blade down, aiming for his sensei's head. Raiho blocked the sword, but he noticed that the blow had more power in it than before. His attacks are getting stronger. He's starting to believe. Naruto continued his attack. The blonde shinobi appeared behind his master with the intention of slashing his back. Raiho blurred out of Naruto's view before he could connect. Naruto looked up to see Raiho, coming at him with his sword raised above his head. Naruto jumped to his left to avoid the strike from the sword that was in Raiho's right hand. The force that he used caused the sword to become stuck in the ground. Raiho, being able to adapt, pushed off his sword with his right hand. He quickly spun around, while using the sword as a support for his left hand, landing a kick with his right foot into Naruto's face. As Naruto flew a couple of yards back, Raiho removed the sword and charged at Naruto. Naruto used the palm of his free hand to touch the ground, causing him flip back into his stance. Naruto had little time to react and not enough chakra to keep this up. He placed his remaining chakra into his sword and swung it at Raiho. Raiho placed chakra in his sword and swung it to counter Naruto's attack. There was an explosion of blue chakra throughout the dojo. The explosion was so bright that it was hard to see anything. When the dust and the smoke cleared from the explosion, Raiho was standing with his sword only an inch away from Naruto's eyes. He was smiling at his student, who had a shocked expression on his face and half of a sword in his hand. Raiho held the glowing blade for a little longer before saying anything. It looks like you have passed this exam as well, Naruto. I must say that no one in our documented history has ever completed the first 2 trials in just 2 days. This is truly an unprecedented feat. He moved the blade that was inches away from Naruto's head and placed it back in its sheath. Let's go back to the compound and get you cleaned up and fed. You will only have 4 hours to prepare for the next test. We could go as soon as you wish, but I suggest you get some food in your system, you're going to need it. Naruto nodded. Food sounds really good. Naruto smiled before he passed out. Raiho walked up to the boy. He saw that Naruto was smiling. This in turn made him smile, as well. He must have passed out from chakra exhaustion. He should be up in an hour or so. You don't have to worry about fighting like the other trials, well, not against an opponent, such as myself. You've come this far in 2 days, Naruto, don't disappoint me now. Raiho bent down and threw Naruto over his shoulder. 1 hour and a half later, Naruto was lying in the bed. Unlike yesterday, he didn't require most of his body to be bandaged. He had a few bandages on his body, his face, and chest. The blonde shinobi heard muffled voices. He slowly opened his eyes to see that he was in his room with Raiho, Kaori, Hayami, and Jiraiya. Naruto sat up. How long have I been out? Hayami jumped and embraced him into a hug. Ni-san, you're awake. I'm so glad. Are you hurt anywhere, Ni-san? Do you need anything, Ni-san? Ni-san. Water, food, air. Naruto said in hope that the girl would soften her hug. She pulled back, released her hug after seeing that Naruto was turning blue in the face. Naruto took a deep breath, then exhaled. Naruto rubbed the little girl's head. I am kind of hungry. I'll get you some ramen right away. The girl jumped off the bed and ran to the kitchen to make some instant ramen for Naruto. Naruto turned to Raiho. How long have I been out? An hour plus. Don't worry, you have 3 hours before the final trial. Raiho stated to Naruto. Naruto looked at Jiraiya. What are you doing here? Raiho asked me to come here, but then he said that he didn't need me. I'm here now, because I decided to stick around. You look like shit, kid. Jiraiya said to Yondaim's legacy. I'll be fine. How is Yumi? I don't know. I haven't been in the leaf. I've been trying to finish my book and meeting up with some old friends. Anybody I know? Naruto asked. Naya and Hinata. Jiraiya answered. Being curious, what is Hinata doing with Naya? Jiraiya shrugged. I don't know really. But if I had to guess, I would say that Naya is training her. Oh. Hayami came back into the room with a tray of ramen. She handed Naruto the tray. He wasted no time discarding the contents in the bowl. Everyone looked disgusted by how Naruto was scoffing down the ramen. Hayami shook her head. Naruto Ni-san really needs to work on his manners. Kaori, still looking at Naruto in disgust, responded, you would think being with us for a year would have rubbed off on the kid. Memories of his deceased friend came in his head. He smiled at the thought. Some things never change, eh, Jiraiya? Nope, I guess not. The boy reminds me of his father in so many ways that it's scary. Naruto heard everyone talking while looking at him. When he lifted his head up with a mouthful of noodles, he saw everyone staring at him. Wart, Zowenthang Wong. Kaori let a sigh. Naruto, don't talk with food in your mouth. It makes it hard for people to understand you and it's rude. Naruto slurped up the noodles. Sorry, I said, is there something wrong? Nothing's wrong. Just looking at you eat your food, that's all. Putting that aside, Naruto, are you okay? Kaori asked out of concern for Naruto's well-being. I'm fine. A little sore, but nothing too serious. Naruto put the tray on the side and got out of bed. He then turned his attention to Raiho. If it's not too much to ask, I'm ready for the final trial. Raiho closed his eyes to signify his disagreement. Naruto, use the 3 hours you have to recuperate. The next test isn't like the last 2 tests. I don't care. I want to get this over with already. Naruto said to his sensei. Raiho looked into Naruto's eyes. He saw the unwavering determination in them. The boy would just keep bugging him until he caved. Alright, but change out of that robe and into some clothes. You know where to meet me. Naruto Ni-san, you can't go. You're not even healed completely. You should wait until it's time to go. The girl pleaded, hoping he would see reason. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I thought I told you there was nothing to worry about. Naruto said, hoping to reassure the girl. Raiho laughed, is that what you really think? This next trial will be anything but easy. I never had it easy. Hard has in fact always been my easy. Kaori observed the young man before her. Raiho had told her of his trials when he was younger. If it was like anything Raiho told her, then Naruto was going to have his work cut out for him. She followed her husband out of the room. Jiraiya knew that there was no convincing Naruto once his mind was made up. I will be heading back to Konoha, Naruto. I guess I'll see you when you get back, good luck. Save your luck for Tsunade Bar-chan, we both know she needs it more than anyone. I will be fine. Jiraiya exited the room, leaving Naruto and Hayami. She smiled at Naruto, I won't worry about you, Nii-san. You said that you would be okay, so, I believe you. She then exited the room. Naruto closed the door for privacy. He changed into a black denim jacket with an orange t-shirt under it. The sweatpants and the sandals he had on matched the color of his jacket. Naruto was dressed and ready to take the final trial. Under the compound, 20 minutes later, Naruto was standing beside Raiho, in front of the door that had the word heart on it. Raiho turned to Naruto, if you wish to back out and use up the remaining time you have, now is the time. I'm not backing out, Naruto said with anger toward his sensei for even suggesting that. Very well, Raiho opened the door and then entered the room. Naruto followed. The room wasn't what Naruto expected. Well, he really didn't know what to expect, but this wasn't it. The room looked like a throne room made of marble. Naruto noticed a pillar in the center of the room. Embedded in the center of the pillar was none other than the Heaven's Blade. Naruto looked to Raiho's side, then back to the pillar. What is the sword doing there? It's the final test, Naruto. Your next trial is to remove that sword from the pillar. If you let go of the sword at any time, you will automatically fail. It may look easy, but this is the last trial for a reason. Naruto, getting his attention, Raiho pointed to the stairs on the left side of the room that led up to the balcony. The balcony was about 5 stories high and it ended on the opposite side with the beginning of the stairs on the right side. I will be on that balcony watching you. I will not be leaving this room until you complete this test. You can begin whenever you like. Naruto nodded and then he slowly walked to the pillar. Raiho walked up the stairs to watch Naruto from high above. Naruto walked up the steps that led to the pillar. He studied the sword in front of him. I guess it's now or never. Naruto reached out for the sword slowly. Both of his hands were wrapped around the sword. Naruto started to feel weird. Suddenly, he was covered by a greenish light. Raiho smirked, so it begins. Naruto looked around to see that he was in a completely different room. The room was completely white. Didn't he just grab the sword? Must be some kind of an illusion. Illusion, you say? Naruto looked all over trying to find the voice. Who are you and where the hell am I? Naruto asked as he kept searching for the voice. So much anger and hate. I can see it in you, Naruto. The voice said. What the hell are you talking about? Are you going to be a coward and stay hidden, or are you going to show yourself? Naruto was getting annoyed. Do you really want to see me, Naruto? Do you really want to see the one who knows all of your desires, your ambitions, your likes, and your dislikes? Do you really want to see me? Well, do you? The voice echoed throughout the room. Naruto smirked, enough with the dramatics and just show yourself already. If you really want to see me, Naruto, why don't you just? Naruto was getting beyond annoyed. If I want to see you, why don't I just, what? Why don't you just look in a mirror? Naruto's eyes widened. The voice came directly from behind him. Naruto slowly turned around only to be shocked to see who stood before him. It was himself. He was wearing everything Naruto had on, however his shirt, sandals and sweat were black while his jacket was red. Who are you? Naruto asked. I'm you, Naruto, the part that you hide. I have always been a part of you. We are one and nothing will change that. You can't deny what you keep bottled in your heart, Naruto. The Naruto clone said. Naruto charged the Naruto clone out of anger. Stop saying that you are me, bastard. Naruto went to punch but only hit air. The clone appeared behind Naruto. He leaned forward and whispered in Naruto's ear, hate and anger is what drives you. The hate in your heart for the leaf, the anger towards Kakashi favoring Sasuke over you, your hate for Sakura, and your anger at the Tsunade and the council for banishing you is why you are as strong as you are now. Your recent anger at what your father did and your hatred for him will drive you to be strong if you would just accept me. Naruto went to swing again, but his doppelganger disappeared into thin air. Naruto screamed at the sky, "Get back here, you fucking coward." The voice echoed through the room, "Hey Naruto, do you remember the day that you first entered the orphanage?" Naruto looked around, to see the scene change. He was now in the orphanage. He looked at his younger self, who was 4 years old at the time. He remembered this day perfectly, he was upbeat about going to the orphanage. He remembered that his previous caretaker treated him like crap, he was hoping that it would all change here. He was wrong. After a couple Chunins, who really didn't like him as far as he knew, dropped him in the presence of the head of the orphanage, she immediately began mistreating him. Naruto watched as the lady, with brown hair who looked to be in her 30s, snatched the hand of his younger self. "Come with me, child, I will show you to your room, but monsters like you deserve to be on the street." The younger Naruto put his head down. The presence Naruto knew what the boy was thinking. Why did everyone call him a monster? What did he do that was so wrong? Naruto waited, knowing what was going to come out of the 4-year-old mouth. "Miss, please, everyone calls me a monster. I don't remember doing anything that would hurt people. Please tell me what I did and I will apologize. I just want to be forgiven for whatever I did." The kid was waiting for her to help him. If she told him what he did, then he could make it up to the people, right? Wrong again. The lady was so enraged that the boy would ask for forgiveness for what he did. She slapped him hard, causing him to fall to the ground. Naruto was holding his cheek. The lady looked upon him with cold eyes. "You will never be forgiven for what you done, you monster. The Hokage should have ended your life, then we would all be happy." Present Naruto closed his eyes at the memory. It was one of the painful experiences in his life. His doppelganger appeared on the side of him. "It hurts, doesn't it? It makes you angry, because all you ever wanted was to be normal and they rejected you. Your own home, for crying out loud. It made you." Naruto opened his eyes and completed the sentence. "Angry." His clone walked around him while speaking. "Yes, it made you angry, and for the first time in your life, you hated someone. She was the first person that you truly hated. You even tried to be nice and friendly and it didn't work, did it?" Naruto had a sad look on his face. "No, it didn't. Those 3 years in the orphanage were hell for me. I hated everyone there, because they treated me like I was nothing. It didn't even change when you entered the academy, now did it?" His laugh echoed throughout the room, as he faded out of sight. The scenery before Naruto had changed again. This time Naruto was 7. It was his first day at the academy. He had been living on his own for the past 3 weeks and he couldn't have been happier. The old man stopped by 4 times a week to check up on Naruto and to make sure that he was okay. Naruto was happy, because today he would start his quest to become a ninja. Naruto arrived at the academy in time for the Hokage's speech. Most of the parents were looking at him and whispering, but he didn't care. Today, he would start his path to becoming a great ninja. After the speech, the students had to go to the class that they were assigned to. The students knew of their class because they were sent letters informing them of their class schedule. Naruto went to the class that his letter said. The teacher, a Chunin with red hair, gave Naruto a look of hate. Those were the same eyes that everyone looked upon him with, not here too. It was lunchtime and all of the students were in the yard playing or practicing shuriken techniques. Naruto decided to go make friends. He walked up to a group of girls and guys. As he approached them he waved, "Hello. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, what is yours?" "Yamanaka Ino." The girl smiled at the boy. Naruto noticed that everyone else next to Ino was whispering about something. One of the girls whispered into Ino's ear. After the girl finished whispering in her ear, Ino looked at him. "Sorry Naruto, but our parents told us that we can't play with you because you're nothing but a trouble-making monster." Ino looked at the kids in her group. "Come on everybody, let's play ninja." All of the kids cheered and ran away, leaving Naruto alone. He walked up to the empty swing on the other side of the park and sat on it. He watched how the other kids played. He sat there and cried. The voice echoed throughout the room again, "Even your peers hated you." Naruto couldn't say anything. Seeing these past memories that he thought he had got over were reopened, wounds that he thought he had healed. You can't deny that you felt hate and anger, Naruto. Why do you repress me? Is it because you fear the side of you that I represent? Fear. If you release me, that you would really be a monster. Well, you don't have to worry about that, because you are. Naruto clenched his fist. He was getting angry, but at the same time his double was right. Raiho was looking down at Naruto holding the sword. The look in his face showed Raiho that he was going through a lot of pain. Raiho noticed that the balcony was becoming filled with members of his clan. Some of the female members as well as the male members had come to see if the Naruto was the next successor. He was so focused on Naruto that he didn't even see his wife and his daughter come up next to him. His wife was witnessing the test for the second time. She was there when Shinji took the test and failed. She hoped that Naruto didn't share the same fate. She talked low enough, so only her husband could hear. Do you think he's okay? I don't know. He has been through a lot, so it's safe to say that this trial is by far the hardest for him. He's facing all of the negativity in his heart, which includes all of the anger, hatred, and jealousy that has built up in it. When I faced this trial, I was confronted with the anger and hate towards the man that killed Shinji's father. Compare that to the hatred for the villagers and the anger of his best friend betraying him. It is safe to say that I had it easy. Naruto must confront those feelings in his heart and face them. Raiho gave his wife his honest opinion. You said that it took you 3 days to complete this task. How long do you think it will take Naruto, considering what he's been through? Kaori waited for him to answer. Who knows? I suspect that it will be longer than it took me, that much is certain. Let's just pray that he can do it. Raiho stated. He will. They both looked down at the daughter. Raiho asked, how do you know? Naruto Ni-san said he would be okay and that he would pass this test. I believe in him, Hayami said without ever taking her eyes off of Naruto. Kaori and Raiho looked at each other and smiled. They hoped she was right. Midnight in Konoha. Yumi suddenly jumped up out of her sleep. She was now sitting up in the bed breathing hard. She placed her hands over her heart. Naruto-kun is in pain. Tears started to fall from her eyes. Naruto-kun, what is happening to you? That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.